Do you know the difference between Medicare and Medicaid? Well, we're going to talk about it. I have Heather Bourne here with Delaney & Bourne, and she's an elder care attorney, and their attorney firm, I would say, concentrates very strongly in elder law. And I know that Medicare, Medicaid question probably comes up quite often. Who covers what, and what's it all about?
Yes, it comes up pretty regularly in our practice. Usually the most confusion is when somebody's in a long-term care facility like a nursing home. In those cases, generally Medicare is only going to cover a limited amount of coverage and stay at the facility. Medicare is a program that you qualify for when you turn 65, right, or you're disabled and you've worked and paid into the system all those years. That's when you get Medicare coverage. Medicaid is generally for individuals who have low income, low assets, and are disabled. So it's more of a means test and welfare program in some regards than the Medicare.
That is great. Well, I know a question that comes up a lot when I'm working with folks, and they're planning ahead, and mom or dad has a disease where it looks like care cannot be done at home anymore, and we're looking for nursing home placement. But mom is still staying at home. So what does that look like for a couple when you have a well one and not so well?
And such a tough situation for families to navigate. There's a lot of confusion, a lot of things going on at once, and a lot of difficult decisions to make. From a standpoint of paying for long-term care, when one spouse is at home and one spouse needs to go into a facility, in general, most people end up looking towards Medicaid because the cost is extensive.
Exactly.
So in those cases, thankfully, there is a provision under the law to prevent spousal impoverishment. So the community spouse who's residing at home, in their home, can keep their house plus currently $109,560 in assets, plus a stipend for income as well, which right now is $2,739 a month. There are a lot of exceptions to those general rules, and it's very fact specific. So there's oftentimes we can look at providing, more coverage or protecting some additional funds or income for that community spouse.
And that is a tough one. And I know I tell the folks that I work with, this really is an area you should not try to navigate alone, because there are laws. Laws have changed. Laws have been updated. And you want to do the right thing. And I know with a lot of folks, they just think, well, I'll just make mom poor on paper, and let's just go through the... And isn't there a look back that Medicaid wants to have all of their information?
There is a 5-year look back period where Medicaid will look to see if you've transferred assets, not for value, like you've given it away or something like that. And if you have, they count and they add up all of the gifts and penalize you for that coverage. So it can be very scary and can be very detrimental. So it's definitely something to look into and talk with an elder care or elder law attorney to kind of review what your options are.
Exactly, and planning that ahead. So I know in one of our prior videos we talked about, people coming in, if they do have that situation where one of the spouses has a chronic illness that may require that, don't wait till the last minute.
No.
Even if we think we're 5-10 years out or whatever, that would be my recommendation. Do you agree?
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I think it's important to kind of, first of all, just know your rights, what you're entitled to, what could happen if long-term care is needed.
Right.
And so knowing that in advance puts you so much in a better position.
Absolutely.
A lot of times then you have a clearer head when it comes to that crisis situation when someone's placed. You are like, all right, I know my rights, I talked to my attorney, I know what's going on.
Instead of waiting until crisis mode or
And
emergency.
that is always scary, yes.
It is very scary because decisions have to be made very quickly. So Heather, I know you walk families through this in such an amazing way. What is the best way they can reach out to you or one of your team members?
Absolutely. They could reach out to us through our website, which is www.ddvelderlaw.com, or call our office at 708-675-7144.
Super. Well, thank you. I know this is a huge topic and a huge we could probably talk all afternoon about it because I know it's just a common thing that happens when folks are calling into Providence Solutions and trying to navigate that where, thank you so much for, having a partnership where I can say, yes, you really do need someone who knows the laws and regulations sitting behind Medicaid.
It's just so many people think that, okay, I have Medicare coverage, it's going to take care of everything. And it's very limited coverage
Yes.
when we're talking about long-term care. So that, if people are aware of that just from the get-go, it's a
Right.
lot better.
Exactly.
And there's no surprises.
Yep, absolutely so true. Well, Heather, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, reaching out to Providence Solutions if you have any questions. The best number for us, 708-342-8090. Thank you so much for joining us.